So I'm
Um,
Megan,
I'm Carter.
and we
Hi.
are interviewing you for a school project about other countries. And
This is Ben. I'm Al. I'm Tommy. I'm Genesis.
wait, never did. Oh, yeah.
Nice to meet you guys.
And this is
Wait.
Grant.
Where are we going? Oh, hi, I'm Tommy. Oh, we're starting. This is Gabby. Gabby, you want to say
Oh, hi.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Okay, nice to meet you. Okay. So we have some questions for you. If you don't feel comfortable answering any of them, you can just let us know.
Okay.
So so where in France do you live?
In Paris.
So first of all, we want to know how you're doing.
Good. Right now in Moldova. It's right next to Ukraine. So yeah, I've just
I
had a
did
long
actually-
day of work, but
Yeah, I did a whole project, an honors geography project for 10th class on Moldova. So
nice.
yeah.
That's nice.
We also want to know, what do you do for a living? That was the question.
Well, so right now I've been working in the humanitarian sector. I don't know if you're familiarized with NGOs, INGOs, like it could be like Oxfam, like International Rescue Committee, American Red Cross, United Nations, international organizations, right? So basically, there's a whole sector of international cooperation. And basically, it's when there's a crisis, when there are refugees fleeing a country, or when there is an earthquake, there is like a whole response led by international humanitarian actors, right? So you have the UN from one side, but you also have international NGOs, international non-governmental organizations. And I'm working for the Norwegian Refugee Council. So it's an international NGO that arrived in Moldova. It arrived mid-March last year after the Ukraine war. And yeah, I arrived in August. Yes.
So that's cool. So did you live in Venezuela before, but went to Moldova because you worked for this?
Actually, yeah, it's a bit tricky because I have not lived.
Who do you consider the most famous in Israel?
Oh, right now?
Yeah.
Wow, I say maybe the Prime Minister, Netanyahu, maybe Gal Gadot, the actress, if you know her.
Oh yeah, she's so pretty.
Yeah,
Who?
she is.
She played
is.
Wonder.
Yeah, she's amazing.
She's from Israel?
Yeah, actually, I know her neighbor. She's a really good friend of mine.
Oh, that's so cool.
Wait. Oh, cool. That's so.
Yeah.
Wait, so does that mean she's Jewish?
She's Jewish. Yeah, a good friend of mine actually went to high school with her, and he said that she's very, very nice. She was very popular, and she was very nice to everyone.
Yeah.
I bet she was.
I have a question. How
Yeah.
do the locals in Israel interact with foreigners?
How the what?
How do the locals in Israel
Oh.
interact with foreigners?
Like people who
Um,
move from the United States to make Aliyah. I think
Um,
need-
Israelis love to talk. Most of them speak good English, but not everywhere. Mostly in Tel Aviv. We love tourists, and yeah, I think that everyone loves someone who comes to your country to explore it and travel, and you want to show the best face of Israel that you can. So I lived close to the beach in Tel Aviv, about 4 minutes walk. So we had so many tourists. It was beautiful to see. I don't have a kippah, but during Yom Shishi, during Friday, sometime we put kippah when we have dinner.
Were your parents really religious whenever you were younger?
No, my family wasn't religious.
Oh, okay.
we flipped it over and we created this policy, which is negative discrimination, or that's what I like to call it. And essentially, it's a majority making use of the minorities, right? We have these really weird laws in my country where, as a Malay, I can literally go to the bank and I can take a whatchamacallit, I can take a loan for a car for 9 years. But if you're Chinese or you're Indian, you can only take a loan for like 5 years. You get what I mean? So there's all these preferential treatment for certain people, which I get it. It was done at a time to help the country evolve, but today the consequences aren't great, and I feel that that's created a real huge racial divide in my country, and people are not as united as they could be.
So it's kind of like the opposite of the United States. For example, I think the United States, of a certain percentage of Native American, you can go to college for free. But like, for example, if it was Malaysia, like, I'm not sure this is a thing, but just an example of your Malay, Malay, like ethnic, like Malay or something, or however you pronounce it, you might go to college for, I don't know, $20,000 US. So if you're Chinese, you have to go for $50,000, kind of something like that.
Yeah, no, actually, it's actually weirder. Megan, we have quotas at universities. So it's like, let's just say there's 100 seats. Well, 55 seats are going to be given to Malays to enter. So which means that regardless of, so I could be a Malay and have lesser grades than a Chinese individual or an Indian individual who would, bear in mind, these people are Malaysians, right? They are born here. They grew up here. They're 4th, 5th, 10th generation Malaysians. But because we still segregate and we still put people in different like little baskets. Well, like at university, we have quotas. We have quotas for entrance at university. You have to do that. Like for Malays, like those are the spots that are reserved for Malays, which is unheard.
Do you speak Dutch?
No. That is.
Oh no.
No.
That's not.
Oh no. Oh my god.
Yeah, I
Danish,
know. I speak Danish, not Dutch. Although I understand some of it, because Dutch is a cross between Danish, German, and English, so I can actually understand some of it.
I don't know why I said Dutch. That is just like, I read the word Danish, but then my brain auto-filled to like, oh well, it's not like, I don't know why my brain thought, oh, it's not Danish, it's Dutch, and then, I don't know.
It's okay. It's a common mistake. No hard feelings.
What's your favorite word in Danish and why?
Favorite word? Well, it probably has to be hygge, which is a word that can't be translated. I think you need to ask your teacher to explain the concept to you. A rough translation into English would be cozy, but in Danish, it's also a concept of being together, a type of like togetherness where you meet up with people, drink coffee, eat a lot of cake. I think it's a little bit rooted in the fact that we live way up north, and in the winter it's quite dark, so we need hygge to be together, eat cake, have a lot of candlelights. Yeah, there's a lot of books about it, actually.
Do you feel like you live in the happiest country?
I guess I'm supposed to say yes, because each year we are rated as the happiest. I guess in a way, mainly because, as I just said before, because like free education, free healthcare, there's a lot of things that are free in Denmark, so we don't have the same sorrows as many other people have. So yeah. I think we're pretty happy.
What your favorite?
Okay, my favorite is biryani, which is a rice dish. It's got some spices, rice, and either chicken or beef or mutton in it, and it's flavored rice.
I eat biryani.
Oh, you do? Oh my God, love it.
Yes.
So delicious. I don't know, how do you feel?
And how was it founded as well?
So it was part of India. It was called subcontinent. So India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, they were all together one country called the subcontinent. And then the British colonizers came in, ruled us for a while. A lot of bad stuff happened. And we ended up with some freedom fighters and some people rooting to separate the country. So it was decided, okay, Pakistan will become one country, India will become another country. And it was one of the biggest, I would say, traumatizing separation for subcontinent. And I don't see a lot of books or authors talking about it, but it was horrifying and terrifying how the separation happened. There were trains coming from one side to the other with people killed in masses in the train, like literally trains full of dead people, killed people coming from one side to the other. And people were crossing on foot, and there were riots and murders left, right, and center. My grandparents did the migration from both sides. So India became one country, Pakistan became another. And from both sides, we had people being murdered, people being killed, looted. There was nothing much organized in this separation. A very traumatizing event in our history. But after that, Pakistan became an independent state. India became an independent state. And then Pakistan had another separation much later in the years because we were sort of East Pakistan and West Pakistan. We had our separation 1977, and East Pakistan became what we now know as Bangladesh.
If you could change one thing about Nicaragua, what would you change?
That's a very good question because so fun fact, did you know that the president in Nicaragua has been the president for 16 years?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
So can you imagine like 16 years with the same person in charge? And like there has been like very good candidates, but he just decided that he wanted to reelect himself. So that's the first thing that comes to mind. It's just like, like have a different government. Um, the government that we have, it's ruled by this man. He's Daniel Ortega. And then can you imagine that the vice president is his wife? So how bizarre, like it's like, okay, like you had your time. I think it's time for a new government, to make sure that we are having good ideas, and then like we continue on developing the country.
Is there any specific things that you didn't really like about his presidency, or is it just the fact that he's kind of become this kind of like dictator who is that specifically it, or is there any other issues you have with him?
Yeah, and remember, I talk from experience, not necessarily because of the economics and whatnot, but one of the reasons that this president stay, it's because he basically reelected himself. So like, like typically you would, like every Nicaraguan, like if they're about 18, they would go and vote. But for example, the previous, and this happens every 5 years, right? Like they, like you run for president and whatnot. So and the last time that people didn't even go to vote because they were like, what's the point? Because votes are gonna get just lost, and then like an act of magic, this person is gonna be elected again. So that's what happened the last time. But then the time before that, there was going to be like a reform, like there was going to be like a change in a particular law, and people did not like it. And then they went to the streets and they tried to protest, and then it turned into a whole thing. Like you had like the police just fighting over this, this group of people that they were peacefully, protesting about this particular issue, and then it became just a battle. Like a lot of people die during that time, and this happened in 2018. So like it was so odd for us, like I mean my generation, for us to experience like it felt like almost like a civil war. Like you would be afraid to go outside because you know, like you couldn't protest, you couldn't speak your mind. And right now people are afraid to do that, and that's the reason why he's staying in the as the president, because if you say something that the government doesn't like, then you might be a target.
Your your parents owned a pizza store, right?
Yeah.
How's the pizza in Italy different from like American pizza? Have you ever had American pizza? Like, what's it like?
No. I didn't have any American pizza, but I would like to try it because I'm curious about the differences.
What is
I don't
the-
know
because
how.
Here it's like it's a
Oily, very
yeah, it's very
oily.
oily. It's more of like a processed fast food.
Okay.
Here. It's very like
It depends where you get it from. Yeah. it also
like there's like
depends.
tons of like fast food chains that are famous.
Yeah, it's like if you go to like Domino's,
Yeah.
Pink Pizza,
Pizza.
what? Give me another one.
If you go to Little Caesars.
Little Caesar, those are like the
But then there's,
oily
like,
ones.
others, like,
Oh, okay, okay.
But there was an Italian mod pizza. Yeah, there was an Italian restaurant and like close by here, and it was super good. Like you could not even like, there's no oil on it at all. Like it's so nice and crunchy.
Yeah.
All pizzas here are kind of crunchy if they are made in a good way. My parents' pizza are not made by like a lot of oil, you know.
Yeah.
If you want oil, you need to add it after the cooking procedure. But actually, we don't put that on the pizza because you lose like the taste of the dough of the pizza, and it is not that nice. And of course, here there are no chain where to eat pizza because it's all made by artisanals. What's the word?
Like
hand-
homemade.
Yeah, like homemade. Thank you, Tamara. It's like homemade, like, and you know, every day my mother wake up and start to prepare the pizza for the evening and for the evening afters, and it's not really fast food. It's a totally different thing. It's low food. It's called here in our place, and it's not thick. It's like really thin and crunchy.
Yeah, because
So what do you consider to be one of the most prevalent problems in Romania currently?
Access to education and access to good quality education.
no. I have like a legitimate question. Like, so like Romania and Moldova. Well, like Moldova used to be like a part of Romania.
For a
Like-
very
like-
little
no,
time.
Yeah, but like this was like Second World War. What happened was, Romania joined the Axis, like Antonescu was in charge of all that. They invaded Barbarossa, Soviets, Germans invaded, World War II basically happened, but then like the Soviets took control of Romania. They made Romania communist, but then they also established like Moldova as its own communist area. What I want to know is, like, now that communism has fallen, what's like the diplomatic relationship between like Romania and Moldova? Does anyone like want to reunify Moldova with Romania?
Yes.
And like they don't want Romania to exist? Not Moldova. I keep confusing the two.
I'll tell you what. So we
You're
speak the
doing
same
great, Dan. You're
country.
doing great.
We speak the same language across the two countries. It's the same language. Their accent is just a little bit stronger, and people who want Moldova to be people who lean towards Russia and Russian politics call this language, so they don't call it Romanian, they call it Moldavian, although this is Romanian, right? Those who are interested in long-term, very strong ties with Romania, they call it Romanian. It's a very strong accent, but it's the same language. People from across the borders would understand each other very, very well. So there are parties that are interested in unifying and bringing Moldova close to Romania. It is slightly less developed than Romania, and it's been under Russian ruling for the better part of the century. But it's very unlikely going to happen. The relationships are very strong. For example, there are students from Moldova who come and study for free in Romania. We encourage people to come and get access to education in Romania.
Education.
It's free
Mhm.
education. Of course.
Our friend Gabby asked why.
Would you rather pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for
Wait,
college, or would you rather go somewhere else where it's free?
Education for college.
Yeah,
So you
exactly.
can meet a new place and get free education. That's a win-win.
That's it. Yes, we have scholarships, lots of scholarships for Moldavian students. And this is part of our treaty to keep the countries very well connected and to keep the transfer between cultures, flowing openly.
That's so cool, honestly. It's
Quirky,
like
right?
they're able
Yeah.
to coexist. They're able to there's people that want to reunify, but
Mm-hmm.
they can be good without hating each other, as opposed to in the Balkans, former Yugoslavia, they all hate each other. They all want to reunite. They all want to reunite with each other. And it's weird. So that's cool.
Yeah.
How do you get access to going there for free?
So
If you're asking as an American citizen, teaching English in Romania is a big business. Teaching English ever since the fall of the communism, actually, quite a few people who are native English speakers came over to Romania and taught English in secondary schools and high schools, and that's usually very, very welcome.
I know that it was fought between you guys and Serbia over reunification.
Yes. So the
Because-
thing was that NATO intervened because Serbia was.
So after the communist military gave up, how was the new democratic government perceived by the people?
Well, democracy is usually well received by people because it gives voice to people, no? And that's what people usually want.
Mhm.
It depends on the times, but usually that's what most of people want. So in Brazil, it was very well received because it was already time to have it. But of course, it always comes with challenges because just having democracy just for the sake of having it is not enough, right? You have to build the right channels. You have to educate people to be able to make use of it in the best way. So we are still, I would say that since then we've been facing these challenges. But in general terms, it was a good change. And I think it was well received by everybody, or at least most of us.
That's great. Yeah, I agree that, it does require some work, but I am glad that they're receiving it well. And I know it was about time.
And then there's this dance. It's a Brazilian. Oh wait, is it true that y'all have dance battles?
That we have dance, what? Sorry?
Dance battles?
Dance battles, honestly, I don't know. Well, TikTok emerged after I left Brazil. So I have to say that I'm not very much aware. Well, I have a 10-year-old, I know TikTok, I have done videos with her, but I'm not very much into TikTok. So I don't know. I can't tell you.
Okay, because look, there's some TikTok dances, right? And it's a Brazilian dance, right?
Let's see.
Look.
Oh, look at her. Well, this could be a Brazilian child.
Does that music sound familiar?
I don't know. I have never seen this one, but could be, and could be.
Okay.
As I told you, I think that one thing that you need to have in mind is that Brazil is a very, very diverse country. So there is not such thing as one Brazilian. There are many types of Brazilians. There are black, white, Asian. Brazil is the country that received the biggest immigration from Japan so far.
Wow.
So we have the biggest Japanese community outside Japan, for example. So there is nowadays, and it was more than 100 years ago.
How would you describe the Dutch culture to someone who has never been there before?
Ooh, that's a difficult question. Well, I don't know. I think we're pretty open-minded. That's at least what a lot of people often say about the Dutch people. Holland is a very small country, so people are used to living together and interact with each other a lot of the time. Else should I tell you? yeah, I don't know. People say we are quite direct in our communication. So when we have something, we tell you straightforward and not behind your back. But I also think there is quite some difference between different parts of Holland. So
Right now, 10 a.m.
Oh my god, such a difference.
So I guess our first question, originally, what part of Russia are you from?
Well, I am from Siberia. Siberia, it is somewhere in the middle of Russia, like in the very middle. Usually when I say that I'm from Siberia, people say like, oh, it's snowing like all over the year and it's super cold, but actually it's not. I mean, during the winter time, we have the temperature like minus 25 Celsius, but during the summer, we also have like plus 25, 30. So it's not really, the stereotypes about Siberia are not real. So yeah, I'm from the middle of the Russia. Yeah.
What is like your favorite Russian story or myth? Like the one that kind of sticks with you the most that, yeah, you've heard?
Ooh. The favorite folktale. Wow, such a question. Well, okay, I would tell one from the local one, which I had when I was growing up, because I grew up in, as I said, in Siberia, and we have this very famous lake called Baikal. It's a very big lake. It's one of the biggest lakes on Earth, I suppose, and with very clean, pure water. So you can just, like swim and drink at the same time, and you can see like the bottom of the lake. So the lake is huge. It's more like a sea. And so the folktale about the lake is because the lake itself, it has many small rivers, which is like goes into the lake, but there is only one which is going like out of the lake, and the name of the river is Angara. And at the place where the river actually goes out of the lake, there is a huge stone, and they say that there was a story that Lake Baikal, actually he has a daughter. So the one river which goes out of the lake, it's his daughter. And once he wanted to marry his daughter to some other river, but she didn't want to. She wanted to marry some other river. Sounds crazy, I know. But so the river decided to go away from the father because she didn't want to be married to the other river. She wanted to do it by her choice. So she ran away from the father, and the father got so mad that he took a piece of rock and just threw it to his daughter. So that's why we have this huge rock in the place where river starts. And we're saying that, yeah, the daughter river just ran away and father got so mad that he threw the stone. And this is actually, it has a kind of a magical something about the stone, because all the tourists, they had to like go to the stone by boat and to touch it, somehow, because they say that it has some I don't know, effects like healing or something. So yeah, but probably all the folk stories about the lake, they are my favorite because I was growing up listening to them. And we had, so it's common to give a lake Baikal like a person, like a human person, and every time we go to that lake, all the time we have to show our respect to the lake, and local people call the lake like a grandfather, like our grandfather. And you always, like, you don't, if you leave some trash on the lake, so it's very bad, you never do that. So all the local people, they never do that because they know that Baikal can actually be very mad. And you know that there are many earthquakes in the area when I was born. So people are afraid of earthquakes and of the very strong winds, and they believe that if they will show respect to the lake, and to the nature around it, so everything will be okay.
Wow, that's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, is there anything else that you want to share?
Well, I just want to say thank you for having me. It's such an unusual experience, yeah, for me, and I was so nervous. And I hope, because I wanted to show my country from an interesting side, from a good side. Probably maybe maybe I was talking in some dramatic way or something, but I just wanted to show you something interesting and unusual. But yeah, I just want to say that Russia is actually a really interesting and very good country with people with a very deep and big souls. And especially it is very important to know, especially because what is going on now in the world, in all this context about Russia and Ukraine, it actually hurts us so much, like us Russian people who don't support. And all of my friends actually now left Russia because they didn't want to support what is going on there. And we all live now in all over the world, especially me. Now I'm not in Russia. Yeah, like I said, like all of my friends, because we really we suffer from the realizing what is going on, and really we wish it stopped soon. And we just want to know. I mean, we just want the whole world to know that Russian government or Russian president and Russian people, we are not the same. Like, it's not about actually Russian nation or Russian culture. That's probably a very important thing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure. I'm gonna stay and listen for always answers also.
Again, thank you very much for speaking to me. I'm very happy that I did this. Come back and speak to us soon.
Yes, thank you, Tamara, and thank you for inviting me. It was fun to tell you about Kosovo. So yeah, if you need to hear more, then yeah, just tell me.
All right, thank you very much.
Have a great day. Bye.
So, thank you for your time today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was nice meeting you.
It was
Bye.
nice meeting you too. Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you very much. I love everything I have to do with Brazil. I just love it.
Nice to
Thank you. Thank you.
Very
Bye.
bye bye. I hope it was useful to you.
Yeah, it definitely was. Thank you.